So I wanted to make a little video here, um, talking a little bit about online dialogue, I guess you could say. But anyways, I'm just on my way home from plowing. I've been plowing today on the horses. So we're heading back to the barn at Nugget and Fertile here. I sometimes have trouble explaining myself, I think, online, and coming across when I make a comment or say something in a post. People tend to assume the worst and misunderstand, whether on purpose or otherwise. I recently had an exchange with someone on a channel, which I have a lot of respect for the things they do, and they're not anywhere near me. They're on the other side of the world, but I followed their channel for a couple of years, and so anyways, they recently posted a little short 5 or 6 second clip of something up, and I never seen anything like it before, and the description on it said that it was useful in their work, and I made a comment that I'd never seen anything like it, and I couldn't imagine doing it myself. I said it had to do with horses pulling wood, but it was pulling it backwards. And I said I couldn't see that working in my situation, and the kind of wood I log, and like I'm a logger. I log in the wintertime, so I said, but it might, they were doing it on a pasture field that was just short crop sod, and they had a small little stick, I don't know, maybe 12, 14 feet long, maybe 6, 8 inches diameter, that they were doing this with. And I said, well, it might work in that situation, but I couldn't see it working on my own. So anyways, and then they came back at me with, basically, well, what the hell are you doing? Like telling us it's very useful. We use it all the time logging for whatever they do, and it helps, drivers train and this and that and the other. And I said, well, okay, fine, go at it. But it wouldn't work for me. I log full time in the bush, and the trees I'm cutting down and the terrain that I'm cutting on, I'm logging virgin pine in the Canadian Shield, and there's rocks and hills and 2 foot of snow and boulders and brush and undergrowth, and it's just a shithole generally where you're working, and I would never be able to do what they're doing, in my work. And so that's all I was saying, was that, different countries. I'll be very honest and upfront. I am a pragmatic person. I have a bit of a theory about horses. I've broke all the horses that I have, and I train them the way I want them. I don't train them to do things that I don't need them to do. I'm a very pragmatic person. I need a horse that will do just this, what I'm doing now, and plow, and use it for field work, and use them in the bush, and on the sleigh, and in the wagon, and in parades, and I do wedding carriage work. So I need a horse that'll do what I need it to do. I don't see any point in me trying to train a horse to do something that I don't plan to ever do. Like trick horses, you can train a horse to do anything conceivably, stand on a barrel on 2 feet and dance around in a circle like a bear. There's all things you can do to, horses are very intelligent, very smart, and you can train them to do a lot of things. But anyhow, it's like training a horse to do piaffe. or flying changes of lead. You know, they're completely useless in the real world. Like, when would you ever need a horse to actually do that? Particularly a draft horse, you know, in the bush or on the farm. It's just not a thing. So, anyways, I'm not training trick horses, circus horses, or trick drivers, you know, to drive in the circus or chariot races or anything. I'm just kind of a pragmatic person. I'll be very honest. I've been working horses for most of my life, since I was 13 years old. But I did my apprenticeship for 5 years on a farm, and I learned my basic first principles of horse farming, working with horses, from an old farmer who didn't make it past the 8th grade. So I worked for 5 years there on a farm, you know, out here in the colonies, in the sticks. We're not as advanced and as scientific as the old country, in the mother country, you might see, in the empire. But that's where I got my start, was apprenticing for 5 years on a farm, and they raised Clydesdales. So I learned how to farm from a farmer. That's kind of how I learned. I'm not as highly educated as some people. I didn't go to university to learn how to drive this team of horses. I just learned how to do it by doing it over many, many years. And this is sort of the state of everything in life I've learned. I've learned it the hard way and the slow way. So I just wanted to clear that up, that I'm sort of not meaning to offend anybody about what they're doing, and trying to explain things on the internet is sometimes like, you know, banging your head against the wall, and people seem to take offense at the slightest little thing you might say, as if it's intended as a personal affront, you know. So anyways, I'll leave it there for now. I just wanted to get that on the camera, and hopefully you can hear it. It's kind of a windy day today. It's quite cold. We had a thunderstorm overnight this morning, and I didn't get to the field till noon. And now it's windy, and temperatures is dropping. So anyways, I'll sign off for now. Take care.